Hi, good morning. This is a voiceover taking over some video that I took in the pit lane for Donington Park. Spoiler alert, I never made it out on track. I turned up in the hope to get some time on track on the reserve list, but it didn't work out. Despite that, I spent a bunch of time in Garage 7 thanks to the hospitality from Richard, who was also attending in his academy car from last year, and spent a bunch of time with my string alignment kit, as you can see on this video here, just getting the toe angle roughly right, just in case I did go out on track. I also drove the car around the paddock a few times and even filled it with fuel. In addition to the garage hospitality, Richard also very kindly brought me through his redundant mirrors from his IVA, so I could replace the glassless mirrors that I had. So very kind, thank you very much, Richard, and that gave me a complete set of mirrors so that if I did get out on track, I would be able to see behind me, which I imagine would have been quite important had that have happened. Aside from fitting the mirrors and getting the suspension roughly lined up, without ballast I may add, there'll be kind of more on that later. I also spent some time adjusting the pedal box based on some advice that Richard gave me around the potential adjustment points. So really productive day, didn't end up on track, which is a shame, but I still got a bunch of work done and a change of scenery from my garage. So I'll just put this as a prefix to my next video, and I will catch up with you all later with some more progress, and I promise I'll get out on track soon.
Good afternoon. So after my last failed attempt to get the car out on a track, I have now managed to beg, borrow and steal my way onto a Brands Hatch track day this Friday. It's the last track day of the season for pretty much every track that I can tell. So shakedown day, but it would be rude not to get my VBox data logger at least hooked up in a temporary fashion. I don't want to put too much work into getting it wired in, because having that in the footwell or whatever is not going to be IVA compliant. So what I'm probably going to do is mount it when it's time to be mounted permanently somewhere down in the passenger footwell. A lot of the wiring for the cameras is going to be going up behind us, so I can run that either through the transmission tunnel or under the passenger seat, wherever. Alternatively, I think I've seen them mounted behind the gear lever there before, so that's another option. I guess either or, but for now I'm just going to Velcro it somewhere, run the cameras however I need to run them, and kind of get that done. So what I'll be running, I'll be connecting the GPS unit, which I'll probably just mount up on the dash up here somewhere, or maybe on top of the roll bar, the roll cage. The two cameras, probably put the secondary camera on the pedals. When I'm racing, I'll need to have it rear facing. The regs say you need to have a front and a rear facing camera, but for while I'm testing and stuff, I'll put them on the pedals so I can gauge what the pedal position looks like and how good or bad my rev matching is and things like that. So the two cameras, the GPS, and then finally obviously power. So I've left these dangling from the fuse box since I put the fuse box cover on. This one here I believe is for the SIG lighter, if you spec that, if you option that, which I didn't. I wish I could buy one and add one, but I've just checked it with the multimeter. It's 12 volts and it's permanently live, so you don't have to have the car running, which, although that does technically mean the V-Box is a battery drain risk, I'm generally going to be isolating the battery cut-off switch every time I stop the car anyway. So I'm not too concerned about that, but what I'm more concerned about by having it on a switch live is apparently the SD card can get a little bit corrupted if you don't let it stop recording and gracefully shut down. So by having it on a permanent live, even if I roll into the pits and instantly turn the car off, or if I spin and I stall the car or whatever, in theory, the V-Box will stay running until I get out of the car and actually isolate the battery. So that's the plan. I'm going to get this there or thereabouts. There'll be a few other things I add before it's race ready, or kind of after the IVA is done. I will connect it to the vehicle's ODB2 port, which I think is near the key barrel. Can I feel it? Let's see it. I think there's an ODB port here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. Is that it? Take my word for it. I'm just kind of fumbling around, but there's something somewhere, I think. If there's no DB2 port, there's probably some CAN high and CAN low wires I can tap into for the ECU. That will get things like throttle position and RPM. And then there's another unit I need to buy from Race Sense, I think, and that will add an additional pressure sensor into the brake circuit to get brake pressure, and maybe some other things, I'm not sure, but that can all come later. For now, I just want GPS and cameras. There's a microphone as well. I would like, nothing annoys me more than like Trackday videos where all you can hear is wind noise. So for now, I might just keep the microphone under the footwell somewhere, so you might be able to hear some engine or whatever. Longer term, if I can get it here without ruining the fire-resistant bulkhead or whatever, I'd like to get it down here near the airbox inside the bonnet somewhere, because the intake sound on these is pretty funny. And you won't hear me swearing as well if the microphone's far away from me. So yeah, that's the plan probably this evening. I'm just here on my lunch break now, kind of planning things out. Get that done. And then the other thing I wanted to get done before Friday is once again putting it on the strings and the scales. I just want to double check my work in the pit garage from Donington. Just make sure I'm happy with everything. And then, yeah, one last check around everything. May have a play with my throttle pedal, just depends how much time I get. Anyway, I'll check back with some progress. We've got power. Got power on the V-Box, so I've just added a connector on there, plugged that in so it can just be removed whenever. But yeah, we now have power on the V-Box, so that's one job done. More to come. Well, hello again. I've been tinkering around with this during the day, so I've got a few more of the accessories out now for the V-Box. In fact, I've got all of them out for now. Got the little OLED screen for doing the lap deltas and real-time lap displays and stuff. Both cameras connected. The GPS unit's there somewhere and the microphone's there somewhere, so it's all kind of working. I've tried a few mounting positions with the cameras. Now I personally prefer a lower down viewpoint that closer mimics the driver. I think the views up top, I don't know, I don't like them so much, but it's obviously a view up top would give a better view, objectively. It's just, I prefer the way it looks when it's lower down. This is maybe a little bit too low. I think it's going to catch too much of my shoulder. So it's probably going to end up around here somewhere. And then for the other one, I've been playing with positions under the under the steering column to give me some pedal cam view. So I don't know if this will come across okay. So this is the SD card I've loaded. As you can see, it's capturing maybe a little bit too much of my shoulder. The pedal box view I think is okay, but it does fall down a little bit low. I don't think my knees will catch on it, but you never know until you get driving, so that might get annoying. It might catch my knees, we'll see. And then I've kind of stripped down the overlay because I'm not going to have any CAN bus data on Friday. I've not bought that cable yet. So all I'm going to really have is the stuff that the V-Box can do natively, which will be a track map and position, GPS speed, G-force, and obviously then the lap timing. There's a bunch of other stuff that I'll get added to this once I've got the appropriate sensors and CAN bus connections and things like that. So I'm going to kind of Velcro this all away now, kind of tidy it up-ish. It's going to be pretty temporary. Get it all out of the way so it's secure. And then I'll call that job done for now. It's all going to come out again, as I say, for the IVA. So temporary job, and then I'll get the strings out again and just see what's going on with the wheel alignment, see if I'm still happy with it. This is about as tidy as I'm going to get it now without getting too invasive. I've decided to put the camera back on top for now. I'll fine tune that later. Just don't want to be messing around on the day. That LED screen mounted on the dash. Just use some dual lock on that. There is a Caterham bracket that uses these press stud fixings here to mount the OLED screen on and angle towards the driver, but they're on back order at the moment, so fancy Velcro for now. Similar down here, fancy Velcro again, holding this into the passenger footwell, and the cables run about as tidily as I can be bothered to run, considering it'll all be coming out again at the weekend for a month or so. So yeah, everything's kind of good to go. The crotch cam is down there. Seems to be good clearance to my knees, so we'll see. See how that goes. Right, onto some suspension. Good afternoon. My voice is slowly failing me with this man flu that I've picked up, but we're going to just do a bit more Trackday prep. I mean, technically, you don't need to run the roll cage protection for a Trackday, and I'm guessing it'll need to come off for IVA, so I'm putting this on for one day. But it is what it is. I can always put it back afterwards. So yeah, the plan is this needs to line the roll cage anywhere that your head could make contact. And your neck does stretch alarmingly far in a car crash. So really, I see I've cut a couple of pieces like this. There's one more piece to go along the diagonal and a short piece to go down here. So I'm going to chop this one up, and then they do have like a self-adhesive backing, but that's going to be taped on just for good measure. So yeah, I'll get on with that now. Good evening. I didn't film much of this because my voice is failing, as you can tell. Coming down with the man flu. Seems like the healthier my lifestyle is, the iller I get. So I've taped them on with the cheapest duct tape that was on Amazon, which happened to be bright yellow. Kind of did a half tidy job of that. So I'm going to get the Kyle ballast out now. Just go around the wheels, checking torques and stuff like that. Check fluids one last time. Standard pre-Trackday checks, I guess. I'm not going to put it in the trailer tonight. I'll do it at lunchtime tomorrow, and then I'm going to drive down to Brands Hatch tomorrow evening. It's a 4-hour drive with the trailer, which will be fun. Yeah, so I'm going to get that all sorted. I think what I might do as well is just double check my work for one last time on the fuel pipe. Just that paranoia. But yeah, other than that, tidy some tools up, and I've decided I'm going to do a job while I've got time. I'm going to adjust the pedals a bit more. I'm going to set a camera going in here, and you can see this at the same time as I see it, but I suspect when I push the brake pedal down fully, it's pushing me beyond where the throttle is, and my foot's just missing it, trying to grab it to rev match. So I'll set the camera up here, take a video to prove it, and then yeah, we can try and fix it. Yeah, I've done some adjustment. I've maxed out the adjustment on the throttle body end, so I've got this as far up as it can go now. That I've got half a chance now of catching the accelerator with my blipping. I could still do with it to be a little bit closer to the brake pedal. You sort of see it down there, not in focus. It's a fair distance. I mean, well, it's all close together down there, but it's a fair distance. And also the second problem is it's now hitting the throttle stop, and I'm not getting full throttle, so I need to adjust the throttle stop. But what I'm going to do first is take the pedal out of the car and adjust it. It's a done thing. You basically bend the pedal a little bit in a vise. So I'm going to do that now, try and get it a little bit close to the brake pedal, and then see how we get on. Okay, pedals out, and you'll have to take my word for it because I didn't video it, but I've bent a slight kink into that now, so yeah, you can just about tell. Yeah, you can sort of tell from that angle. So yeah, let's see how that goes. We'll put it in, see how it feels, trial and error. Okay, I've done loads of back and forth now with adjustments, and I'm pretty happy with it now. So what I think I'm going to do, just to quickly check, is stick my Trackday shoes on and make sure that, you know, I'm not catching two pedals at once or anything silly like that. And then we'll get it buttoned up and get it ready to go.